Welcome back to the Packaging Your Lambda Functions as Container Images learning path. Today's session, we're going to learn how to deploy your AWS Lambda functions from the AWS Management Console. This is the third in a series of 6 sessions. After this, you'll learn how to deploy your functions using the AWS SAM CLI, how to optimize your container images, and some caveats for deploying your functions. Today, you're going to learn how to create an Amazon ECR repository using the AWS Management Console. You'll learn how to package and push your Lambda function to that ECR repository. You'll learn how to create a Lambda function using the AWS Management Console. And you'll learn how to update your function in the Lambda console. Now, for all of this session, we're going to be working in the console or in your IDE. I'm using Visual Studio Code. You can follow along in whatever editor you're most comfortable with. You'll also need to have a window open with the AWS Management Console. So first, open the AWS Management Console, and let's get started by creating an ECR repository. To create your Amazon ECR repository, open the AWS Management Console, and in the search bar at the top of the page, enter ECR. Under Elastic Container Registry, Top Features, choose Repositories. On the Private Repository screen, choose Create Repository. Leave the visibility settings as private, and give your repository a name. In this case, we'll use Random Letter, the same name from the container image launch blog. Optionally, enable image scan settings to scan container images whenever they are pushed to the repository, and choose Create Repository. Once the repository is created, choose View Push Commands to see the commands that you'll need to log into the repository, build, and push your container image. Copy the first command, which gives you the login command. And in your terminal, paste that command and run it. AWS handles logging into the repository for you. Note that this command requires that the AWS CLI be installed on your system. Next, copy the Docker build command and paste it into your terminal. In this case, we build with the same tag as our repository name, which is also the same tag given in the container image launch blog. Once Docker finishes building and tagging your image, return to the AWS Management Console. The next command is a tagging command. Copy this command, return to your terminal, and paste it. This command tells Docker that the image that you just built should also have the tag of your repository that you just created. And finally, copy the push command and paste it into your terminal. This tells Docker to push the image that was built up to the repository that you just created. When that push is completed, return to the AWS Management Console, choose the repository name, and you'll see that you have one image that you just pushed. Now that you've created an ECR repository, packaged and pushed your container image to that repository, it's time to create a Lambda function using that container image. Open the AWS Management Console, and in the search bar at the top, enter Lambda. Choose Lambda, and from the AWS Lambda console, choose Create Function. Select the option for Container Image. For a function name, you'll want to use the same name that we've been using so far. Random Letter. For container image URI, choose Browse Images, select the repository that you've created, and select the image that you just pushed. Note that although you're selecting the image tagged as latest, Lambda is going to lock to the image digest for this image. This means that if the image tag is updated to point to another image, the Lambda service will not update automatically. We'll cover this in the section Update a Lambda function. Choose Select Image to continue. Accept the default permissions and choose Create Function. Once the Lambda service has finished creating your function, you can test it in the console. Select the Test tab. Accept the sample test event that's generated for you and choose Invoke. The Lambda service invokes the function for you, and you see that it succeeded. In the details, you see the result of the function. This is a binary encoded body of the email as covered in the launch blog. To update your Lambda function, you need to make changes to your code, repackage your container image, tag and upload that image to ECR, and update your function code configuration in the Lambda console so that it knows to begin running the new image. In this case, let's modify our code to add the country. We save our file, build our image, tag our image with the remote repository, and push our image. If we return to the AWS Management Console and open our ECR repository, we see that we now have a new image tagged as latest, as well as the previous image that we used to build our function. Back in the Lambda console, we see that our code still points to the previous image of our function. On the Image tab, choose Deploy New Image, browse Images, select your repository, and choose the new image, now tagged as latest. Choose Select Image and save, and the Lambda service updates your function configuration. Once the service updates your function, it now directs traffic to the new version of your function. Let's review what you've learned. First, you learned how to create an ECR repository in the AWS Management Console. You learned how to package your Lambda function as a Docker container image and push that image up to the console or to your ECR repository. You learned how to create a Lambda function using the AWS Management Console. And you learned how to update your function whenever you make changes to your code. For additional resources, see the AWS support for container images launch blog referenced throughout this session. In the next session, we'll cover deploying your Lambda functions using the AWS SAM CLI. Thank you for joining us, and as always, find more information on this topic and other serverless questions on serverlessland.com.